practice, and I've been getting some inbox, inquiries about pie chart, the structure and all of that. So instead of writing and, all the time talking to one person in my inbox on the same thing, another person I know, I decided to quickly do this session. I decided to do this session so that I can quickly clarify, all right? I can quickly clarify on what we should do when we see pie charts. When we see a pie chart, okay? So quickly, I'll just go through what a pie chart is and how we can deal with a pie chart when we see it in our exams. We've done this before, so it's just a run over, okay? Just quickly, a run over on pie chart. When you are writing task 1, you know that we keep talking about grouping data generally to make your work easy and all of that, all right? To make your work easy and all that. So you need to group data in a logical way to make it easy for you to follow, and to make it easy as well for the examiner to read. Sometimes you can be given a single or a double pie chart. So with IELTS double pie chart, the most logical thing for you to do is usually to compare categories together across the chart, focusing on similarities, okay, and differences rather than writing about each chart separately. In line graph, where you have double line graph, or in maps, or in bar chart, we keep saying that when you have them double, you pick one, you write on one, you pick the other, you write on the other one. Remember the structure of the writing task 1, generally we say that there's an introduction and then an overview. Your introduction and your overall statement are together, and then your overview is where you're expected to create out of the points that you have from the variables that you have been given. Out of that, you have to create 2 paragraphs. And when we have a double map, a double line graph or whatever, we usually say that you should group it in a way that you have one diagram or one map or whatever in one paragraph for some of these question types. But particularly for a pie chart, I'll be talking about a pie chart tonight. And for a pie chart, when you have a double pie chart, you should not go ahead to write on one pie chart first, then the other one. The most logical and the most important thing for you to do is that you should write on the variables, the values and of those variables. Compare them as you go along, okay? You do the comparisons, and then the differences, the similarities is what you have to take note of in those 2 diagrams, all right? So if it is single, then you now group the data together from that single graph, single pie chart that you have. You pick, you select, like if there are 6 variables in that chart, you can decide to write about 3 first, then the other 3, explaining them with all of the numbers or percentages and all that. Remember that pie charts are usually written in percentages, okay? 360, sometimes 100% and all of that, most times 100%, and then it's divided into different portions. So you select which you are going to write about in your paragraph 1, which is the overview paragraph 1, which is the second paragraph actually, and then in the last paragraph, okay? I believe that this is well understood. So when you have double pie chart, you should not write on each chart. It's not logical for you to do that. You should write on the 2 of them at the same time. Select the variables, group them, make your choice as to what to write about first. All right, I will see if I can quickly share a pie chart that I already had. Let's see a pie chart. So I'll give you an example. This is a double pie chart. I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you can see it if you're watching me later on, or if you're joined. I've not seen anybody in this class though. I've not seen anyone yet. There's no harm if you can't join. Okay, there's no harm. It's your normal. Okay, someone is asking on the Telegram group what they should join with. What you should join with, you are joining with your normal details, your normal login details. Normal login details. Same as for the class on Thursdays. Okay, I've just responded to that question. So login details is same as for the class Thursdays. Anyways, don't worry if you can't join. The video will be on YouTube for you to see, just like the other ones. Now we have a double graph here, a double pie chart here. And from my explanation already that you should, pick variables and discuss, it means that you have to make a choice, all right? You have to make a choice of what you are going to be writing. You decide on what you will choose to write about. So when you have a double graph like this, a double pie chart, you already know that paraphrasing is non-negotiable, okay? Paraphrasing the statement is non-negotiable. And then getting an overall statement is as well not negotiable at all. So those are constant things that you must do. And for a pie chart, it's not different from what you have in the other ones as well. Where you have for your introduction, you have a paraphrase of the question prompt and an overall statement giving you your first paragraph, which is the introduction. Okay, so because it is a double pie chart, you are not going to attack it the way you attack for maybe a double map or for a double line graph or something, where you pick a particular line graph and you discuss it and then you go to the next one and discuss it. It's different for a pie chart. The most logical thing to do, like I said, is for you to make a choice or as to what variables you're writing on first of all, but you must choose. So for me to give you like a heads on or like a clue, you will select to write about the highest for each of them and the lowest for each of them, first of all. Then you can go on to write about the ones that remain unchanged and the ones that changed. For instance, in this question that I have here, it says the graph below shows the comparison of the weekly expenses in the UK and in the US. Now, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features, okay, and make comparisons where necessary or where relevant. Expenses are the same for all of them. The variables are the same, like rent, DVD, books, going out, transport, and food. It's the same variable they have, but they have different values for them. So you need to make a choice. Okay, we said the highest, okay, and then the least. That is when they spent the most money and when they spent the least of their income. So the rent here is the highest for UK, while food is highest for US. Now, if rent is highest for UK and food is highest for US, then what is lowest for them? For UK, the lowest variable here is DVD, and it's the same DVD as well, and they have the same percent, which means that DVD happens to be 10% for both UK and US, and that is where they happen to spend the least of their money. Okay, that's where they spend the least of their income. All right, so if I choose to write about rent, about food, and then about DVD in my first overview paragraph, that is where I will say all of the values. All right, so for people in the UK, they spend most of their money on rent, which is about 30% of the total income on a weekly basis, while for US, they prefer to spend or to attach or to allocate more money. All right, they allocate more money for food, and it stands at 25%. That's their own highest. Okay, in addition, the lowest for both of them is DVD, that stands at 10%. So with my cohesive devices, all right, I have been able to come up with a paragraph. And in this paragraph, the information contained in it is about the highest and the lowest, and then their values, okay? So that is what you will do when you have a double pie chart. It's not the same way you will write for a double line graph, where I said that you will pick one graph, discuss it, pick the second one and discuss it. Here, you need to choose the variables and their values to discuss as per first overview paragraph and second overview paragraph. Now, in the second overview paragraph, I've decided to talk about the things that had the same amount and the ones that changed. So for this, I have noticed that for going out, both of them have the same 15%, and for transport as well. So going out and transport are the same for both US and UK. The same amount of money is what is spent on a weekly basis for transport and for going out. But for their books, all right, for books is at 12% here and books is at 15% for those in the US. So this is what I have decided to talk about. Then I will note that the people in the UK spent 18% on food, while those in the US spent 20% on rent, which means, remember that the first one, it was rent and food. Now it is rent and food because you can't leave out those variables. So if you have joined me, you are welcome. Like I said from the beginning, I was having some questions on pie chart. People came into inbox and they're like, what's the structure like? What if they have a double pie chart and all? Is it the same way you tackle that question with the like, what's it called, the line graph, or wherever we have other double graphs? And I said no, it is not the same. This is because in pie charts, when you have two pie charts, majorly you are going to be making comparisons, and different portions are allocated or allotted to different variables with different values. So you need to make a choice as to what to write about in your first overview paragraph and in your second overview paragraph. For me, in this particular example, I have decided to choose to write about the highest and the lowest first. Then I moved over to write about the things that the values change and the ones that the value did not change, the ones that remained stable and those that were unstable all through that week in both the US and in the UK. Remember, it is the same structure where you have 3 paragraphs. Remember, it is the same what's it called, where you write an overall statement. The overall statement where you have the first and the you pick 1 or 2 things. So for this one, for an overall statement, maybe you can talk about the highest and the lowest as well, but just mention them. You can talk about the UK people spending more money on food, on rent, while the US prefer to spend most of their income on rent. You don't have to mention how many percent, all right? In your overall statement, remember, you're not giving me values. You're just telling me what happens, what I can see at a single glance on this. All right? Yes. So I just decided to make this video so that if you are confused about this, you will at least understand. Just to go over this again, because it's not actually a class, it's late and I know it was not planned. It's not a class, but you can go back to the YouTube page to watch this and you will get what I've been trying to explain from the beginning. So I said that the structure is the same, but the information are different. The structure is the same in the sense that you still have 3 paragraphs, but the information in your paragraphs are different. Unlike a line graph, if you have double line graph or something where you can describe one first, then the other one. For a pie chart, when you have a double pie chart, the most logical thing to do is for you to discuss the variables, group the variables and write about them. And in my grouping the variables, I have decided to group the highest and the lowest together in one paragraph, and to group the ones that changed and the ones that remain stable, all right, together in my next paragraph. That's what I decided to do. So you just pick these things and you write about them. Okay? Yes, I just said, let me quickly do that. Let me quickly do that. Hello, good evening. Thanks for joining, even though it was an impromptu thing. So when you write a task one, you should always group your information in a logical way to make it easy for you to follow and easy for your examiner to read as well. So when you are given a single or a line or a double pie chart, there are different ways to write them. With an IELTS double pie chart, the most logical thing to do, like I said, is to compare categories together across the chart, focusing on the similarities between them, which is the ones that have highest and lowest, okay, like I said, and then the differences between them, which is the ones that change, the values changed, all right, rather than writing about each chart separately like we did with the other types of the questions. And if it is single, it is best to arrange and group the data together to decide what information comes in the first or in the second paragraph as it is. Okay, so overall, for your pie charts, the variables and figures are expressed in percentage and must be reported using this unit. A line graph could be static, or a pie chart could be static or change over time. For instance, this one is over a period of 1 week. Some people, sometimes it can be changed over time, like just like a line graph. All right, so that's just the thing. You need to express your writing in percentages because a pie chart is, like the round thing divided into different percentages, so you must mention the unit of measurement. Okay, and if you have double, you should make your choice, pick what variables to write first and pick the next variables to write on. I decided to pick highest, lowest first, and then I went on to write about the changed ones and the ones that remain stable. That is stable and the unstable. And at the end of the day, I make use of my cohesive devices. Furthermore, in addition, like all of those verbs that we add, the linking words, I put them in between, make use of them, get my complex sentences in those paragraphs, correct my errors, and submit my paper for my scores. Yes, so that's it. If you joined late or you don't understand really what I said, please just quickly go to the YouTube and you will get it. This was prompted by the questions that people were asking, and I didn't want it to look like I have to be answering people one-on-one all the time. This person asks a question inbox and I have to explain, and then another person asks again and I have to explain. So now that I've done this video on pie chart, anyone can go on there and see what they think the difference for pie chart is. So thank you very much for joining. You can go back to work now, Rosemary. I hope you are finding it easy there. Is it so hot? I heard that there's harmattan in Nigeria and it's tough.
Yes, ma, it is.
It
just
is.
started yesterday.
It is well, oh.
Amen.
I hope you people are practicing. You should
Yes, ma.
practice, please. Practice and get ready to write. Lovely, good evening.
Thank
You're
you,
already sleeping.
ma.
You people, your house do not leave Facebook and Telegram, and as soon as what is it?
I'm not sleeping though. I was even thinking of the pie chart when I saw your message.
You see, so
Um,
I'm in the spirit. I'm in the
yeah, you are. You're in the spirit.
Okay, so you can go to the YouTube. I know you didn't start with us, but if you go to the YouTube, you will see it from the beginning because I was able to share it. You see it from the beginning, and then you have a better understanding of what I'm trying to see. Now you can explore. Go into the internet, look for pie chart questions, attack them, write them, and see if you can apply this thing to it. That way that's the way to learn. You don't just listen to a class and you sit down and say, next Thursday, no, Joy will come again. No, you need to practice what we have done. Remember that we're rounding up with writing task 1 and we'll be entering into writing task 2 like really, really soon. And yes, so that's it. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.